Hello and welcome back, beautiful soul, to another episode of Permission to Follow Your Inner GPS, your Inner Guided Purpose Soul Path podcast. And today we have an amazing guest, another one, Tandy Elisala. And I am your host, Angel Lady Terry Marie, an intuitive empath coach, crystal goddess, helping her clients to get their BS stories out of the way, raise their vibe, and connect to themselves, their intuition, their angels, and spirit. And without further ado, allow me to please introduce our beautiful guest. Tandy is a family caregiver, coach, and cancer empowerment advocate who helps people go from stress and overwhelm to calm and empowered. She is a four-time, can you believe it? Four-time cancer thriver, and I love that word. And she is here today to share her journey with us. Hello, beautiful, gorgeous. We were going to smash the two words together there real quick. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you, Terry. It is an honor to be here with you and your community and sharing my story and helping others to, follow their internal guidance system.
And how did you get started with yours, gorgeous?
Well, gosh, my spiritual journey started actually as I was going through a divorce. And I was not conscious of angels or guides, or, I believed in God, but I just wasn't conscious. That's, and I went to the bookstore and literally books would fall off the shelf, like when the student is ready, the teachers will appear. And that evolved, into, hypnotherapy and Reiki and tapping and coaching and all this, all these beautiful things. So I'm grateful for my journey because I've been able, over the last 20 years, over 20, because I've been able to, each challenge that I've had in life, I've built more and more resilience. Mm-hmm. And with that, more trust and faith in following my internal guidance system and trusting that Gus, God, universe, source, spirit, creator, angels, all of them have our back. And so I think the journey that I want to share today is about my cancer journey.
Okay.
So as you mentioned, I'm a four-time cancer thriver. The first time I was diagnosed was stage 1. The second time it was stage 2. The third time it was stage 2. And the fourth time it was stage 4. Ooh. And yes, and I, at the request of my kids begging me, my adult kids begging me to please, 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 at least try radiation and chemo, I agreed. And even though I didn't really want to, I wanted to do the alternative stuff that I had been doing. And long story short, I went through radiation and chemo, and it was the toughest thing ever. I was sick. There were days that I literally wanted to die. There were days that I thought I was going to die. Yet, Terry, there was one thing that was a constant for me, and that was my trust. I had trust and faith that my cancer journey was simply going to be a story at some point in the future, like today. And that my purpose in this world, in this time, in this life right now, is much bigger than cancer. And I just held on to that trust and that faith in my big why. And that really got me through. And gratitude was also very huge. I'm a huge advocate for gratitude practice. So after I went through my first round of chemo and radiation, I ended up with stage 4 kidney failure and severe anemia. And I still had the tumors. One tumor was gone. There were 2 remaining. And at that point, my kids just saw how broken I was with this. And I refused to go in for cancer and come out with, needing dialysis and a kidney transplant and stuff. So I made the decision to not do a second round of chemo. And instead, I spent the next 6 to 9 months doing all the alternative things I knew how to do. I reached out to all of my incredible network of friends and talented healers, and I threw everything at it that I could and knew to do. And it took, 6 to 9 months, and then I got another PET scan, and everything was clear. Everything was clear.
And it's still clear.
And it's still clear. And it's been 2 years now post. Yeah. And I was able to reverse the kidney failure back up to stage 3, early stage 3. So I still have anemia. I still have side effects. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. But I'm here, and I'm, healthy, and I'm cancer free. And the journey, the 4th time, I felt the first 3 times it was really about my voice.
Okay.
And, I had head and neck cancer.
Oh.
Yeah. So
okay.
It was about using my voice, having a voice, feeling like my needs were just as important as everybody else's needs. And the 4th time, what I really got, the message I got was self-love. And I thought I had that. And I taught it, yet there were some integral pieces that were missing. And once I really opened up to that and embodied that and really worked on that, then, that was part of the healing journey.
It must have taken an awful lot of courage, one, to say okay to your children, knowing that was not the best way.
Right.
And yet, if you didn't have their support in the ways that you were choosing, the ways that you were guided, that wasn't going to work either.
Right.
So thankfully, you only went through, what do you call it, one round of it, one section of it. And how did you get from, let's back up just a little bit, because from the divorce and the books falling off the shelf, and I totally get that. I totally get that. Or walking into the bookstore and your eye falls right on that one, and it's totally not where it's supposed to be, but that's the one that you see.
Yes.
Same thing as falling off the shelf, guys, okay? It's the same thing.
Yes.
So between, going through the divorce and then going to the bookstore, that's when you started your spiritual journey, because without that piece, more than likely you would not have known that other alternatives existed. And even if you kind of sort of did,
yes,
it would have been too woo-woo.
Yes, absolutely. And the very first book that fell off the shelf, and it was in the middle of an angel book section. Okay. Seriously.
There's your clue.
Right. Here's your sign. But the interesting thing was, the first book was The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murray. The best $7 anybody will ever pay to really get a good sense of the power of the subconscious mind. So that really began my journey about, oh, wow, we do have the power within to heal ourselves. And so that led to my interests in that. And that led to a whole bunch of more of other books. And then angel books were literally falling. The very first one, this was way back in the day, the Healing Angels by Doreen Virtue. It was the number. I have that. The Healing with the Angels, or something like that. Yeah. That book I used so much, like the binding was, I had to buy another book because it fell apart. Seriously. And then that led me to different spiritual conferences and just all kinds of things. And then that led to going through hypnotherapy training to be a hypnotherapist. And then that led to Reiki. And that led to different coaching certifications and things I've done, and then tapping, and of course along the way it was about angels and angels and angels and archangels and more angels and crystals and all those things. So it just I can just feel myself. It was just like this whole journey has just really I'm really grateful for it, because I really believe that we get the messages we're supposed to get at exactly when we get them.
Provided you're open enough and aware enough to hear, see, feel, sense, however you get it, right?
Yes.
And because of those early studies, you got that the head and neck, you said head and neck, was that you were not expressing yourself, you were not speaking up for yourself, you were not standing up or showing up enough or barely, and that's what's like going, hello. So put all those pieces together, ladies and gentlemen, beautiful souls. You see where we're going with this? The they, we.
The whole chakra system and energy and yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So how did that, while you were doing your self-healing with the help of your community and your friends, I mean, we're not so, that you did it all by yourself. You did it on your own with alternative methods, with healers and friends and prayers and all of these things, because when we get the big C word, it's like everything goes out the window and you go, OMGs. If I didn't even know what OMG was years ago, but anyway, it's just so huge. And there's this, it's not the word stigma comes, but it's more God, that's right. The intensity of the energy is like, oh no.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So how did you, because it took courage to say no.
Yeah.
Not one time, not two, not three, but even four.
Right. That's right.
So how did you find that courage? What did you do to get to that point that it's like, okay, enough?
Yeah. Well, I think I don't want to say lucky, but fortunate maybe, that, oftentimes the lessons that we need to learn, when we don't learn them the first time, they leave the room, they change clothes, and they come back masquerading as something else. In my case, I don't know if they just thought I don't know, but left the room, might have changed clothes a little, and came back as the same thing. I had the same type of cancer 4 times. And I don't have a history of smoking or drinking or chewing tobacco or any of the risk factors. I don't drink soda, didn't when I was a kid, so it was just kind of interesting. And so, of course, that's when I looked at the spiritual side, of it all. But to your question, how did I get the courage to fight, right? To say no. This is not how my story ends. One was I had always been Superwoman. I'd always been the one, I can do things at once, thank you very much, with one hand tied behind my back, right? And I had to learn how to step into my feminine, my divine goddess side. And with that, I had to learn how to ask for help.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, that's not easy for women to do, because we're supposed to be able to do it all.
Exactly. So I reached out, I asked for help and received it.
Good.
And that helped me, because I think a support system when you're going through tough times is incredibly important, whatever that support system looks like for you. The second thing that really helped give me the courage was my strong belief that we do have the power within to help ourselves heal. And I had demonstrated that in my life for me and for clients over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And I really believed that, that was the case here. And I had faith, as I mentioned a little bit ago, I had faith in my why, in my passion and purpose in this world, and knew and felt and believed. And here's the key, is really feeling into it.
Yes.
You got to feel it. It's different to know it, but to bring it from head to heart. And
yes.
So a lot of work, Terry, on head to heart connection, head to heart connection, and really honoring that. And the third, I did a lot of prayer. I asked for the angelic help all day, every day, and felt that help and saw that evidence of that every single day. And that continued to propel my hope, and my trust when I could see the evidence of those things. And okay. You're like, okay, we're doing this. And during my most darkest hours, when, I literally couldn't move, and I was in so much pain, and I held on to my big why and this might sound corny, but the love for my children. I knew, being a single mom, raising these beautiful, kids to be responsible adults in this world, I knew that our journey together wasn't done. Mm-hmm. And I really felt I got a glimpse into how they would feel if I did pass, if I did die, if I didn't make it. And that world was unacceptable to me.
And you had a choice, didn't you? You could have left.
Oh, absolutely.
And it probably you actually had an opportunity at least twice to say, I'm done?
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Right on, Terry. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And the first time I was actually, I had immediately come home from my grandmother's funeral, my dear grandmother's funeral. And I long story short, I ended up with blood clots on both sides of my lungs. Like people die from just one blood clot in the lung, right? Pulmonary embolism. I had blood clots, multiple, both sides of my lungs. The emergency room doctor was in tears and saying, I don't even know how you're alive. You are a very lucky young lady. Lights flickered, my grandma's smell. And then I had an out-of-body experience with the angels, and I spent the next 3 months literally, Terry, doing nothing but learning to breathe again, literally, and healing. And again, things would fall off the shelf. I would be introduced to different meditations or different things. And because I had gone through hypnotherapy certification, I knew that if I recorded healing things in my own voice and then listened to them, that was the most powerful thing I could do. So I did a lot of that. And I could have very easily died there. I was very, very, very ill. And I just knew that I'm here for a bigger reason. I can't really, it's just a knowing and a feeling.
How did that help? How did these experiences, these triumphs, these healings, how did that help you manage or navigate the obstacles into getting back into coaching, because this would have been an all-consuming, energetically, emotionally, and physically healing. So how did you transition from that to now?
Yes. I was in corporate America. I had
Oh, Lord.
I had the nice corner office and, executive leadership roles in higher education administration. And so I did that. And I was teaching college at the same time for 10 years. And I was a certified Franklin Covey facilitator in a number of their content areas. And I was raising kids. And then I had my coaching business on the side, really on the side. It was like, but I was getting these certifications and these hits to do, like, okay, now you need to learn Reiki. Okay, now you need to learn this. Now you need to learn this. And then December 22nd of 2009, my dad, who was my already disabled mother's caregiver, was hit by a semi amid a 20-car pileup on the freeway. Made national news. Long story short, I left my corporate career, to take care of my parents full-time for 2.5 years, and saw through their respective deaths, their respective return home. And that really led me to my first book and family caregiver coaching, because I know what it's like to be a caregiver and a care receiver.
True. Not very many people can or have experienced both sides.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that, once I left corporate America, Terry, I couldn't go back.
I've heard that from more than one person. It's like, once you step out, it's like, oh no, there's no way to go back without dying. I mean, literally dying or re-dying again from the inside out.
Exactly. I absolutely knew that had I stayed, I just know I would have had a heart attack within 3 years. I had a lot of responsibility, and it was great. I was really engaged. Like, if you look in the dictionary under engaged employee or engaged, executive, that was me. And our mission and our vision and our students and our faculty, and I love my team and who we, what we did. And we did some amazing things. And I left a beautiful legacy there. And there was nothing more important than taking care of my parents. Nothing.
Right.
And that journey really changed my life too.
What would you say to someone, to that one beautiful soul that there's no other, more one at a time. There's more than one, but what would you say to that person that is possibly or more than likely facing the same types of situations or decisions, whether it's corporate America or not? How do you help? How do you help? Give them the courage, or not to give it, but to help them seek the courage and the determination within themselves to, like, okay, this is what I need to do.
Yeah. So for somebody that's finding themselves in a potential caregiving role, there's 66 million people that are taking care of an ill or aging loved one. So it's extremely prevalent, will continue to be as the baby boomers age. And the thing that I would say is, well, there's a lot, but this is take things one day at a time, one step at a time. It can be so overwhelming to think about the massive responsibilities and all of the decisions. So I think my first piece of advice is that. The second is and this is going to sound, I don't know, more practical than spiritual, but have the conversations today with your
Yes.
loved ones. You know, if you don't have a will, get one. If your parents or aging loved ones don't have one, get one. If they do, find out where it is, talk to them about it. Not just the will, but the advanced medical directives, power of attorney.
I just went through all of that with my mom and dad between January and the end of May, the bulk of it being in April. And thankfully, because you can only push and support, well, you can support, but you can only push and encourage so much because it's really touchy. It's really touchy. It's very personal, and she's absolutely right, y'all.
Yeah. You just have to. You have to. And nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to think about it. Yet, here's what I say to my clients, that the only way that people are afraid that if they put these things in writing, that they're going to lose control or lose their independence. And I say it's exactly the opposite, my friends. Because the only way that you can be assured that your voice will be heard and that your wants and needs and desires and intentions for how you want to be treated from a health perspective,
Yes.
is to have the decision in writing ahead of time.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're leaving it to who knows.
Yeah.
But it's the most important thing you can do today.
And it gives everyone peace of mind. It gives your heirs or your family. I mean, well, that's a whole nother topic. But anyway, that's a whole nother topic, right? Family. Yes. And now don't write any of us any nasty emails, okay? Because we're not pinging, we're not judging, we're not blaming. It's just, that's the truth.
Yes.
It can get complicated super, super fast.
Yes.
So,
and if you don't have those things in place, Terry, as you know, if you don't have those things in place and something happens, it's going to cause you exponential stress as a caregiver. Exponential stress and time, energy, and money. So, yeah. So one of the things that I do is I help people navigate those conversations and, and just make sure that they have everything, nice and neat in a bow.
So they don't get overwhelmed.
Exactly. I mean, they're going to get overwhelmed. But
better before than after with everything double and triple, right?
Exactly.
I hate to end it here. I really do. Would you come back and we can take up another piece, another part of your path?
Yeah, I'd love to.
It is, your story is so incredibly powerful. There's always a choice, y'all. There's always a choice on how you do whatever it is you came here to do. Whatever challenges or obstacles, health issues, money issues, whatever it is, this beautiful lady is another shining example of following her inner GPS. And because of the health experiences, she's here to share them with you that you can get through, if you so choose, in similar ways. Everybody's a little bit different, right? But would you please tell our viewers, beautiful Tandy, how they can find you?
Absolutely. So on social media, I hang out mostly in my Empowered Family Caregiver group. And I have a page by the same name. So you just go to, when you're looking up groups, Empowered Family Caregiver. And on my page, I've got links to my podcasts and a whole bunch of other stuff. And I have a freebie. It is a quick start guide to conquer overwhelm. And it's a fabulous resource for going from stressed out and overwhelmed to alignment in your life. And that can be found at bit.ly/by overwhelm. So bit.ly/BYEOVERWHELM.
Okay. And you got it straight from her, guys. Thank you so much. It takes, in my humble opinion, it takes a lot of courage to come and share your very personal health healing journey. And I'm saying it that way on purpose, with intention. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope you will come back and we'll take this up where we left off, or we'll talk about something else depending upon what angels and spirit have us talking about, right?
Absolutely, I'd love to.
Thank you.
Thank
So,
you so much.
ladies and gentlemen, beautiful souls, after you have viewed or reviewed, however many times you choose, this beautiful podcast with this beautiful soul, Tandy, please pop by angeldreamteam.com and get a free gift. Angels, Success, and Prosperity. Become a mover and shaker of your reality. I can't remember some things sometimes. That's what you do with channeling. Thank you for joining us. Please do share this. You don't know who is going to either need or want or just really know someone else who really needs to hear this information. So thank you, and we'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye for now, beautiful soul.